It was a church meeting, uh, pretty cool church meeting. Actually, they had a youth rally, and I got to speak to the youth on Saturday, and then they had church service on Sunday, and I actually gave one class on Sunday. It was good. Uh, I did an okay job at the youth rally, and I did an amazing job on Sunday church service. And I was telling my parents that, and they know that if I did a horrible job, I'd be the first one to say I did a horrible job. It
So
was
you
pretty
bombed
good.
it.
Yeah,
So you bombed it pretty much.
no, I didn't. No, I let me tell you, I'm the first one to come out and say, "Híjole, mano, la regué." Like, but these past couple of Sundays, actually, that I've been teaching here at church, I've done a great job. It's crazy. Uh, and I have this like one little, you know how you have that ace in the hole? Like this is the sermon, you know? This is the one that now is in my pocket. Everywhere I go, and just in case they say, "Hey, give us a class," I got my ace in the hole. That makes sense?
That's always important. You always got to have that for a rainy day, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they give you time, then prepare something new because you don't want to use up that ace in the hole, you know? You don't want to give out that playing card, you know? You want to keep it there as long as you can and prepare get ready for it. I think that's one of the things that I think the city of Brownsville should learn from, you know? And what I mean is, guys, if you're always doing great stuff, yeah, you're completely bird. If you're out there doing great stuff, you know, you don't have to like be digging to come out with something, that makes some sense. And let me say, in regards to the bus thing, you're doing good. You went out there, you made the shift in regards to having a bus on election day. Free bus on election day. That's great. Congratulations. Put up the damn shelters, the bus shelters, because right after election we did get some horrible weather down here. For us, it's horrible weather, because it we're not used to the cold weather. We're not used to the cold weather, y mucho menos the cold weather when you have el chippy chippy, and we got a lot of chippy chippy cold weather.
I'm Call me crazy, but I love gloomy days. It's not living in South Texas, it's always 90 some degrees. So whenever it's cold, rainy, gloomy, I don't mind it. I'm a homebody. I tend to avoid going out in large crowds. So to me, it's like perfect. Love the weather. Love the change in scenery. But I think Brownsville, after one too many rainy, gloomy days, we're kind of tired of it. I think we had like 3 or 4 consecutive days where it was like rainy nonstop. So I think the residents of Brownsville were kind of like, all right, I've had enough. Give me back give me back the heat.
Well, the problem is, no one knows how to drive here in Brownsville.
When it's bright, when it's sunny, when it's clear, when it's
Nadie sabe manejar, and even on the great days, it's like hellhole out there. On the rainy, gloomy days, just don't bitch it up. My page is I was actually on Facebook Jail's page, but you saw, you got to post a lot of the stuff. It's like one after another, after another, after another. It's not a good situation. Good morning. What is it? Your post about the B Metro? What truth is there to the post about the B Metro Christmas tree? Let me tell you, it came from inside. So I'm going to value the veracity of the post. But you know what? This is what I was going to get at. What they're doing good, and all of a sudden they have to go back and la tienen que regar. Where are the bus stops? And because of the rainy, gloomy days, a lot of people, Frankie, they actually use the bus metro. And someone on my page went out there and posted, hardly anyone uses the bus system, and that is, you know, maybe
A
not
lot of people use them.
yeah, not completely factual, and because of this, and again, I understand what the individual is saying, that most people here have a vehicle, and that's true. The problem is that there's a lot of kids that come from Matamoros that use the bus system, every day that there is school. So there is a use for the bus system. We just want bus stops. We want the shelters, and we're not asking for new bus stops or shelters. Just want the ones that you promised us. Because one of the things that they came out with was, we're setting up the bus shelters. They did what, 6 or 8, somewhere around there, and we're going to have the 32 put up by November. November is gone. It's one day away. They're not going to put up 32 bus shelters in one day, Frankie.
It all goes to priorities at Erasmo, because there were the issues during the summer, the scorching heat, triple digits of students, parents being out in the hot sun. But it's all about priorities. If this money was used for a big Christmas tree, wasn't there a lack of drivers at Erasmo? Wasn't the city either there were some disputes in regards to compensation, lack of manpower to have enough bus drivers out in the city? It all goes to priorities. What's more important, to paint a beautiful picture that the city of Brownsville has a Christmas tree, or taking care of those individuals that are taxpayers, or taking care of those city employees. It's unfortunate that time and time again, we always, the constituents, the citizens, we always get trampled on. We always get, las migajas. We never get first dibs in anything. No. But that's the way it works in the good old city of Brownsville.
Well, it goes back to my constant complaint. If you take care of something when it's small, a problem when it's small, you don't let it get huge, then it'll be cheaper for you to fix. And what I mean by that, Frankie, is like, if we actually had Christmas decorations, poquitas Christmas decorations, and then every year add on a little bit to it, Frankie, no lo sientes tanto, because estás like invirtiendo $20 hoy, el próximo mes otros $20, próximo mes otros $20, But instead, they want to pick up a big old Christmas tree, $15,000 Christmas tree, de un trancazo. Where have the decorations been all this time? And look, one of the things that I've always complained about is that, we don't get any attention for 4th of July. We get a Southmost Veterans Parade. We don't get that much attention for Christmas, very, very, very small, very, very minimal. While other cities around the valley, Frankie, have these massive events. Harlingen is having like Dallas Cowboys and cheerleaders and Luis Miguel and I don't know what other craps out there. They're having all these stuffs out there. They're having big old celebrate. They're investing in their community, in bringing these individuals together to help small business, to help the city of McAllen. And again, I'm not going to go into the financials because I know that there's losses and stuff like that. But if our decoration system was what it was back in the 1940s, 1950s, and we'd add on to it, it'd be a lot cheaper to decorate every year, because everyone stores their Christmas decorations. No one throws them away. And again, the city of Brownsville during the Christmas time looked a hell lot better back in the 40s and 50s than it does now. Add on, not subtract. Good morning, Erasmo, Frankie.
Erasmo, I think it all goes back to leadership. The priority, the attention has been downtown. The first Friday, and look, it gets misconstrued whenever we talk about the focus of the city. But one would think that those individuals, the commissioners, the mayor, should focus on Brownsville as a whole. Downtown Brownsville has been the focus during this administration. Speaking of our mayor, which I know we'll get talking to in a bit. But the whole downtown area has been given priority. This whole lighting of the Christmas tree at Osmo, fits to that narrative. Let's put it, let's spend money. Let's light up the Christmas tree. Let's focus downtown. People are going to come downtown. They're going to spend money downtown, and the rest of Brownsville, figure it out on your own. It seems as if this administration has been so hell-bound on throwing all the money, all the grants, all the assistance for small businesses, for attention, for keeping having those roads immaculate. I'm anxious to see it, Osmo, what the direction would be of the city of Brownsville moving forward. Now that we will have a few seats coming up in the city commission.
Well, and one of the things that I've shared with the city commission and the city of Brownsville, the city of Brownsville government, is, look, I want downtown to look okay. I want downtown to look nice. We work, and you know this, Frankie, we work out of downtown. We've been here for the past 50 years downtown in the same place. My parents own property downtown. And again, I would be one of the first ones to say, no, hombre, no, que se venga todo para acá. We as a family would benefit from it. My sister owns a big old chunk of downtown as well. But it's not about Erasmo Castro, his family. It's about the city of Brownsville as a whole. We need resources to be spread out evenly throughout the city of Brownsville. We need small business all over the place to get the same attention that the mayor's business, the Galansky's business, the John Cowan's business, the same, equal. It's got to be spread out. Unfortunately, it is not. But one thing that Frankie mentions is that, there's an opportunity again for the city of Brownsville. It's an opportunity in order to change direction, from having a city commission that pockets the resources of the citizens of Brownsville to actually voting in something new, something different, a city commission that is different from what we have. Good morning. I'm guessing they got funded for the shelters, but most of the money was used to cover up the missing money, maybe. Abel makes something a very interesting point, because this is something, and I don't want to deviate too much from the city of Brownsville, but this is something that happens, Frankie, at BISD. At BISD, they received 186 million in ESSER funds, divided amongst 3 years. Well, what they did with the money was start covering up the holes that this current administration, had already made. We talked about the health insurance and how I think it was 4 million that was poured into the health insurance to try and put it back into the black because it was in the red. They used the ESSER funds, which are not supposed to be used for that, in order to cover up that hole. And in the same way, there's other holes out there that got covered up with the money that should have gone back into the people. So it's kind of weird that a lot of the grant monies, the giveaway monies, the monies that have been received, are used to fix up the screw ups, and then we're still in the hole. And what's worse, Frankie, and I think you mentioned this on your show, what's worse is that the rates are going to increase. Their premiums are going to increase. They're going to be paying more. So, and I think you mentioned this. ¿De qué sirve if you get a 3% raise increase if you're going to be paying 10% more in insurance premiums, Frankie?
And, COVID had a lot to do with it as well. There was a lot of teachers, staff who were in and out of the hospital, clinics, needed medical attention. But it all goes down to, I guess the keyword of the day is priorities, right? We're so focused on dishing out cash, and the school board, as we have seen at Osmo, they have been not very responsible, which ultimately led them to raising our taxes even more. So we encourage an audit to be done to really give us the details regarding those ESSER funds to see in what way they were used, because One find it hard to believe, Erasmo, that an entity the size of BISD with the budget of $500 million, if you're not able to manage that, you shouldn't belong there. It all goes to leadership, unfortunately, but it's going to be interesting to know to find out what happened to those funds.
Well, I hope that the new board, this new board, puts their feet to the fire. And again, we can only hope. We hope that they, unlike the previous board, we hope that they listen to the people of Brownsville. And if there's one thing that we learned from the Tenasca audit, is we need everyone out there. Esa es my way para Nueva York. No sé dónde ponerlos, pero son de para Nueva York. We need, if there's something that we learned from the Tenasca audit, is we need audits, Frankie. We need to check everything. And I'm hopeful that this new board is going to audit the crap out of not only the ESSER funds, but federal funds and all other types of funds out there that were received. And no es por nada, Frankie, pero one thing that I think that we learned from and you could correct me if I'm wrong, that we learned from the Tenasca audit is that Brusiak didn't do this by himself. Tony Martinez didn't do this by himself. There were other people that were complicit that knew, because in the audit, it did mention the management team estaban al tanto of what was going on. Frankie, Tony Martinez didn't do this by himself. And this is why I think Susan has been very, very adamant. We all have, but Susan has been like on fire in regards to get rid of Sandra Saenz. She's got to go. Get rid of her. Because these people were always, hand and foot next to Tony Martinez, tied at the hip. So they knew. They knew. If they knew, they need to be held accountable. And the same thing with BISD, Frankie. Anyone who knew that they misused any monies, ESSER funds, the federal funds, anything, should be held accountable. Because I'm sorry, Gutierrez didn't do this by himself. Go back to the $1.2 million that they lost, that they, that were mishandled. And look, and the buck stops with Gutierrez, He didn't do that by himself, And what's unfortunate, Frankie, especially with those $1.2 million, they want to throw a secretary under the bus. They're not going to get rid of Mary Garza. They need to get rid of Mary Garza. They need to get rid of anyone out there who actually had the decision-making power to take action. Unfortunately, they're trying to target a secretary. And let me tell you, I'm going to be one pissed off resident of Brownsville if they get rid of a secretary.
And this whole Tenasca deal has been going on for forever, it seems. This monopolization of the electrical company that has pretty much enslaved the residents of Brownsville. Erasmo, this has been a racket for the longest time. It's finally, the people are finally starting to rise up because of Tenasca. But this is one, and you always mention this, Erasmo, this is just one project. This is just one scheme that we find out. Imagine all the rest of the other schemes that we don't hear about. But we would encourage, and just like any entity with this new board coming in, an audit is necessary. We want to know what we have, what we're missing, what we're at a loss, where there is a surplus, what we can improve. It seems as if this previous board was so hell-bound on not opening up the books for whatever reason. There is that $1 million to the Nigerian prince. There is that fertilizer, Erasmo, that came up that we haven't heard anything about. There is talks of one of the assistant superintendents having her brother's construction company involved in BISD business. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of hands, as one of my friends would say. There's a lot of hands in the masa. So we want accountability. We want to be able to know, what we're looking at, and we hope that an audit and us pressing forward with this Tenasca deal, it will ultimately free us from this monopolization. And at BISD, it will give us a better insight into into where the skeletons are at.
100%. I'm glad to be. But so I heard about the recount situation. What I want to know is how connected the Remy guy is to Joey Lopez. Also, is Adan Salas going to be there at the recount? Never forget how Denise protects him. I'm going to say I don't think Adan Salas is going to be. I think Adan Salas they've shied away from him, which is good. But tomorrow there will be the start of the recount in regards to the BISG race between Victor Caballero and Denise Garza. I've already shared my 2 cents worth on it in regards to Joey Lopez involvement. I don't think that there's a lot of involvement with Remy. There might be, but again, we'll see. My concern is it's always in that little circle. Take into consideration Denise Garza, Daniela Lopez Valdez. They're related to Joey. They're related to Joey. And let me tell you, I still have an issue with the BISE race 2 years ago in regards to numbers being flipped. And in this race, it was Denise Garza, the only one that was running for BISD that was related to Joey Lopez. And again, guys, call me crazy. Again, Frank, call me crazy. It just looks, Frankie, at those votes that were flipped, that the votes that should have gone to Victor were put for Denise, and the votes that should have gone for Denise were put for Victor. Call me nuts, but that's what it looks like. And my question then is, would Joey do the same for his race and Eddie Treviño's race? And let me tell you, we're hoping that this recount is very, very, very telling, Frankie.
And it all goes back to the previous recount with Marisa Leal and Minerva Peña. According to sources that were there, they saw a lot of ballots that simply had Daniela Lopez's name on there, not accounting the other 20 races in a presidential race. The only race, and not just one, there were several, if not hundreds of them. It just goes to show you, what we're up against and how deep corruption is in the city of Brownsville and in Cameron County. What's 30,000? What's 40? What's 50,000 to an arena of $100 million, Erasmo? They could recoup that quick. Now, are we accusing anybody of any mishandlings? Absolutely not. But tomorrow at the Cameron County Courthouse, we would, again, this is going to take a few days, of course, but we would get an insight into, the legitimacy of the race for BISD Place 2. You're right. The numbers to me, as soon as I saw it, was 48-52, and it just didn't make sense. It's hard for me to believe that over 10,000 people voted Elizondo, Garza, and Ortiz. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't at all. And I think it didn't make sense to anyone. But I'm very, very proud of Victor Caballero. I'm very, very proud of the community that came together to help Victor Caballero in regards to, putting the funds together in order to demand a recount. Let me tell you, if it is proven, Frankie, that they were flipped, you're talking about international, national news here. You're talking about every station out there in this country is probably going to talk about it. And I mentioned that because it's one of the things I think. I mean, we might even get former President Trump to come down here and and say, you see, they're able to flip our votes, because it's, and again, not out there like jumping on the Trump bandwagon, guys. But if this goes out, comes out that they were flipped, again, we're going to be in the spotlight as a community, Frankie, for all the wrong reasons.
Another black guy. And anybody you talk to, they say that, South Texas, Brownsville is Mexico because of the corruption. For the sake of the republic, for the sake of democracy, Erasmo, I hope that this isn't the case. But if it is, it's going to be interesting because people will do time. This is a federal offense. But we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be there at the Cameron County Courthouse just to just to get a feel of it. I wanted to go the last election for the Marisa Leal Minerva Peña one. I wasn't able to because of work, but now I have a few hours in the morning, so I'll be there tomorrow to get the vibe.
What happened to the billboard project? Let me say, guys, I kind of feel kind of trippy about asking people for money during this time. Let me talk to the group that we have to see if they think it's a good idea, because it'd be interesting, guys, to go out there and put up a billboard in regards to saying this and this and this is what. And look, I think I've already made mention. I am running for mayor of the city of Brownsville, so I don't want it to feel, because everyone always says, "Oh, you're just trying to politicize something." No, it's something that we've been screaming about for years. So let me talk to the group, and let's go back in regard. Let me get back to you in regards to the billboard. But I think it's a good idea. I think it would let more people in the city of Brownsville know exactly what these individuals did, to the citizens of Brownsville, and how we're going nowhere. Frankie, I'm sorry. I think you're more hopeful on the CRC than I am. I personally believe that the CRC is going to do jack squat. Nothing. It is just tapar el sol con un dedo. They just did it in order to say we're doing something, but nothing is going to come from the Charter Review Committee. Nothing. I know you're hopeful, Frankie.
I was hopeful at the beginning, but once we learned of Commissioner De Los Santos's nomination or appointment, that kind of just threw everything out the door. And then the way he lied about it and said,
I didn't know
the guy. I just, interviewed him, and you seem like a perfect fit. We're not dumb. One may have the appearance of not being all that bright, but that just goes to show you, what we're dealing with. Do these people on the commission, do they really want to get down to the bottom of this? Do they really want to point the finger and say, these are the individuals that are running this racket that have been making money for the citizens of Brownsville? It is not in their best interest, Erasmo. And the Democratic Party has a lot to do with this. They cover for themselves. That is one of the reasons why I've been disenfranchised with the party as of late. Nobody said anything about Cameron County Judge Eddie Trevino when his hands were all over Tenasca. It just seems as if they're trying to cover for each other, and there's no way in hell, in my opinion, that they're ever going to, make this something more than what it should be. They're just gonna, wait until we get tired, wait until this dies down, and then, they'll keep on making money off of us as usual.
I have no hope for this CRC. I have no hope for this PUB board, and I don't think that anything is going to happen in regards to rectifying how they screwed us over. But we'll see. And again, people are going to say, like, no le eches la sal. Imagine the message on the billboard that lights up that says, Brownsville commissioners, where are our bus stop shelters? Well, not just our bus stop shelters. Where is our Tenasca money? Where are our bus stop shelters?
Elon.
Yeah. Where is the Elon money? Where? There's no accountability, Frankie. There's no accountability. And that's what's unfortunate. Call them out and create accountability. And look, and a lot of people may go out there and say, it's kind of weird, Frankie, but a lot of people go out and say, well, y'all scream and y'all yell and y'all are upset and nothing happens. Well, actually, I counter by saying it's because we're out there screaming and yelling and, going out there. Actually, there has been some change, Frankie.
Yeah, I agree. And it's sad because whenever I ask people, they say, oh, we need to do something. We need to do something. And I say, okay, well, are you available to meet? Are you available to go to the meetings? Are you able to, like, oh, no, you deal with it. I'm like, really, like, that's not the point. The point is for us to work together. There's strength in numbers. But I honestly think that the citizens of Brownsville, they don't care. They're too busy, with their everyday lives, with dealing with their kids, dealing with the the rigors of being a human, and they leave all this work up to the Erasmo Castro for the city of Brownsville. It doesn't work that way. We have to understand what we're fighting against. We're fighting a machine, guys. We're fighting an entity that has enslaved its residents. And do you think that these people that have been making money for 10, 20, 30 years, you think they want to give that up? Hell no. So it's just unfortunate that there's only a few that are screaming at the top of their lungs while everybody's watching from the sidelines.
Well, again, the only thing that is expected is that one of the things that I think that that we've been called out on is, well, y'all hate Brownsville. Y'all think everything is wrong with Brownsville. No, I think we love Brownsville more than we're given credit. We just want the resources that come to the citizens of Brownsville to be evenly distributed to all the people, to citizens of Brownsville. And let me say, Frankie, I think everyone out there who is a small business owner, has felt the pinch of the economy, COVID, and the freeze that we had, PUB bills, everything. It's just like it's been an avalanche, Frankie. It's como que they've gotten no breaks. It's one thing after another thing after another thing, and the only ones that seem to find relief are the mayor, the city commissioners, the individuals, the Limas, the individuals that are part of all these boards and committees. They haven't suffered that much, Frankie. Small business here has suffered horribly.
And it just goes to show, why would people run for a position that pays nothing? Why are they spending $100,000, $200,000 on these types of positions, a la Galansky, a la Cowan? Because they're in it for insider information. They're in it to make money. This is the business for them. It's unfortunate, but we, the taxpayers, are their ATMs.
Yeah, we are their petty cash. And let me tell you, when I'm talking about petty cash, I'm not talking about a couple of $100 here and there, petty cash that I don't have. I'm talking about millions and millions of dollars that they have at their access for any of their projects. ¿Qué te pasa? ¿Estás bien? My baby girl. She wanted some attention.
Hey, what's your take on the mayor's announcement and the feedback that we've been seeing?
One of the things that I think that this is what happens, and someone made mention of this, like, why is everyone's post out there anonymous? Let me say, folks, one of the things that I think that these people don't realize is that because I talked to the mayor, and mayor said, Mayor, people are upset, and they go like, no, look, I look at my Facebook page, and everyone's saying that I'm doing such a great job, that I'm amazing, that I'm awesome. I go, yeah, those are the board people, the committee people, the city employee people. They're the regular kiss ass people. They have to do that. The truth of the matter is, there's hundreds, if not tens of thousands thousands, if not tens of thousands of individuals out there, Frankie, that are pretty much upset and feel that the mayor has been self-serving and has not done anything for the citizens of Brownsville. And that's why a lot of those individuals, and then someone asks, well, why are all the comments anonymous? And I go like, look, I understand, because a lot of the stuff that I think Frankie, myself, even Maggie now, whenever she wants to come on, like once every 3 months. But ay, Maranita, all the people out there, Frankie, they're pretty pissed. And I think that they see what we see, that Brownsville's going nowhere. We had one of the runway out there at the airport, and this is one of the reasons why I actually wanted to talk to Manny Fossil, because Manny is on the airport board. But we had one of the major airstrips at the airport with no lights, Frankie. I mean, we could not land planes here this weekend, Frankie. And this is the busiest weekend of the year for everything, for everywhere. The biggest, the largest air travel time is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Frankie, we couldn't land a plane here. It had to be diverted like crazy. Was diverted to Houston, then it was diverted to Austin, and then back to. It was back and forth. They wound up landing in Austin because they couldn't land in Brownsville because the runway didn't have any lights. And then, I contacted the airport folks, and they said, "Oh, no, 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 it's the lights are back on working." And this is what really pissed me off, Frankie. How they share half truths and expect you to believe it. The lights weren't working on all the runways. They were working on the small runway, the one that gets these little small planes. But the big plane still couldn't land until today, Monday. This is the type of management, and this is the type of government that we have here right now in the city of Brownsville, where they focus on everything else except that which is really important to Brownsville as a whole. And again, the airport gets a black eye. I stand with Victor Caballero said on the Herald. He said that if you voted for Frank and Carlos, then you voted for Victor, not Denise. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark for sure. Yeah. It's still going to be major. Brownsville PUB, ya nos vio la cara, gacho bad. They don't care. Nothing is going to happen. No. And I think one of the things that I think that we all expected from Mayor Mendez, Frankie, accountability, transparency, we got none. Did you read some of those comments that the people, comments that the 52, 53 comments that the people went out there and blasted at him on?
It's hard to argue, of his one term as mayor, of the great things that he did. When you really think about, and again, it is hard. It was extremely difficult to be the mayor, to be the judge during COVID. We have to put that out there. But at the same time, the only thing that I could think of that the mayor was a part of it, Osmo, was $200,000 grant, the Coca-Cola building, the new winery that he opened up. How long did that take? And people were saying, hey, businessmen, they take 6 months, 9 months to even open. They have to go through so many procedures, regulations, inspections. And the mayor, all that we have seen is that he's got his streets paved, that he's opened up shop somewhere else, and it's going good for him. Business is a-okay if you are a mayor for the citizens of Brownsville. But other than that, Erasmo, can we say that that he did something good? Maybe fiber, BTEX fiber, but even that is questioned and mirrored by saying, is this another money grab, a big project? And I know people aren't saying that publicly, but in the back of their minds, they're saying, is this another Tenasca deal? Is this another sports park where, it's so much money and somebody's going to make a killing? But I think that's one of the main reasons why he decided not to run. Now, the question is, Erasmo, is he gearing? Is he preparing to run for something even bigger? One thing that I heard about, and I can never say the source, of course, but one thing that I heard from someone is that there is already people preparing to run against Jenny Lopez in 2 years. Now, she just won. She hasn't even gotten sworn in. And these people, these sharks, are already talking about getting a candidate. Now, somebody said, well, Trey Mendez does not live in that district. But hey.
Not yet.
Not yet. We all know how that works. Chente Gonzalez didn't live in our district, but what happens? He got residents. So is this, Erasmo, should we anticipate hearing Mayor Mendez throw his hat in the ring for Texas rep against the Republican nominee and elected representative? So I think that's what's going to happen, Erasmo. I think he stepped down so he could solely focus on gearing up for that race.
Let me tell you, and I don't think that's just not on that race. Look at what happened with with the sheriff department, Frankie. I mean, the sheriff was in office like 3 months, and all of a sudden, everyone's out there announcing that they want to run for sheriff. I go, calmate, vato. The guy's not even halfway in his term. And, he already has like 3 opponents.
Yeah, but that's the way it works, unfortunately.
Today is the recount it's tomorrow, the 29th, right, Frankie?
I thought it was 29th, yeah.
29th, yeah. And I was, why don't they tell us why they closed? Yes, Maggie, you only come out once every 3 months. It seems that way now, if at all. Why don't they tell us why they closed one of the fire trucks and took away 2 firefighters? Yes, the commission knows they have one less aircraft rescue and firefighting truck and manpower. Let me tell you guys, I was concerned back when we only had 6 and 7 ambulances. This is the time of the year, I think, where fires increase here because of the season, because of more lights being put out, put up, because of space heaters. This is the time that we need more fire trucks out there, more personnel. No, Frankie?
Yeah, I agree. And maybe we should focus on supporting candidates that will address the Tenaska issue, that will encourage the city to hire more manpower for more police officers and more firefighters and more ambulance units out in the city. Someone that's going to focus on fixing our roads. Why do we need a nice bike and hike trail when all of us are, we don't use that? And again, we should focus and encourage a healthy lifestyle. But when the elephant in the room is, streets aren't paved, it seems like we live in a third world country. Our priorities are not where they should be. So I think that we should encourage candidates that will, want to get to the bottom of Tenaska, give the residents relief, and also address the elephant in the room, fixing our streets, fixing our roads, and improving the quality of life for the residents, and also safety. We need more policemen and we need more ambulances and firefighters out there.
Yeah, it's disappointing. But I'd actually like to get more information on this. It's kind of sad. I found it interesting that the article written about Mayor Trey's post detailing why he wouldn't run mentions the financial impacts on him. Yeah. No. I saw that, how he had made mention, Frankie, about, it's costly financially. We're like, yeah, I don't believe that. I'd like to see that. Regulation oversight, or this will go on for 40 more years. Yeah, we need accountability. We need everything to be audited. But in regards to oversight, Mateo, this is why we elect city commissioners. This is why we elect, Frankie, BISD trustees, Cameron County commissioners, to be the oversight. Unfortunately, the oversights have been the pocketers. Everything project done by government entities is tainted by the thought of money grabbed by someone. Yeah. Why can't people be courageous and put their names to their comments? And look, there's some individuals, and let me say this: there's some individuals out there, the guys, that they can't. So I appreciate that a lot of people send in information. It's they work directly for these individuals. They've got to feed their families, and take into consideration there was a lot of teachers out there that lived with the fear of retaliation for years because they couldn't say anything. A lot of principals that couldn't say anything because they'd be placed in the pool. So I understand, but we need more individuals to put their name to their comments. We really do. ARFF certification is required at the airport. They took one away from the airport. It's not good. The current fire chief, Jared Shelton, allowed the removal of this required ARFF certificate manpower to be removed. we need more information on that. 100%. Thank you, Veronica. Nothing will change because they keep the people silent. Hopefully, especially at BISD, I'm hoping that with this new board, things will be a little bit different because we still need a job. Yeah. And I understand that. Now, the Rocha, they retaliate. Yeah. HR, administrators, principals. Yeah, I 100% agree. But we support how we can. We vote. Yeah. And your financials and your encouragement, and send over cookies or candy sometime to my office. Frankie, anything else that we want to cover this morning?
I was blown away. I could have sworn tomorrow was a recount, so I'll start heading over to the courthouse in a bit.
Is it today?
I don't know. I thought it was tomorrow.
No, I think it's tomorrow.
Okay, good.
I'm almost sure it's tomorrow.
I know. I had it down on my calendar for tomorrow.
No, I'm almost sure that I remember it being on the 29th. My brain is going, but not going that bad. Let's see. Yeah, I'll see him in a bit. I'll go check him out in a bit. Soon, very soon, more will be revealed. I love you. Tomorrow, the recounts tomorrow. Let me say, guys, I will be traveling a little bit this week. I do appreciate Frankie taking the helm this week.
This week? What?
This week? Especially tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I have a date night tomorrow night. And so I think I might be out tomorrow night, but we'll see. But I did ask Frankie to take over Friday night. And I will be in Mexico City, so I'm hoping that I'll have access to online. So I'll come on the shows from Mexico City. Hopefully, Maggie will do her once every 3 months appearance and come out this week and help out, or Sam come out of the damn cave that he's been hiding in. And everybody else that's in the group could come on. My trip was okay, Abel. Again, quick go and come. I think the only thing that I struggled with is internet. Someone said that the satellite for Mexico, Telcel, was down Saturday, and that's why I struggled a lot. And let me tell you, I struggled. It's horrible. It was weird not having access, and it's crazy. We've become so accustomed to technology. It's just crazy. No lo quitan por un minuto, un instante. We're going nuts.
Remember when Facebook was down last year or 2 years
For
ago?
Like 2-3 days, no? I was here.
I thought it was like for a day, but everybody was freaking out,
Yeah, it seemed like an eternity. Blessings to you and your team. Estamos con ustedes. Thank you. I love you, Krishna. More demand side economy. No more voodoo economics in Cameron County. We could pray. Guys, have a great, great day. I've got to get to some work because I need money for my Mexico trip. And I'm in the red, unlike BISD, because of the ESSER funds. Frankie and I do not get ESSER funds. We do not get funds from everywhere. We actually got to do some type of work. Guys, thanks, Frankie, for coming on. It was great to see you again. I hadn't seen you in a long time since you hadn't come to work for a while.
Thanksgiving, come on.